Men are not naturally providers nor protectors. I mean, if they were, everyone in the world would have what they needed. Men control most of the wealth. Men control most of the public policy decisions. We wouldn't have war. Everyone would have enough food if men were naturally providers and protectors. It's never been a secret to me. It's always given like my nephew who puts on a cape and says, I'm Batman. You know, being a provider and protector is not something you are just because you declare it so. Provision and protection are human traits and skills that fall under moral courage. Moral courage is something you possess after you've practiced it. They're human skills, which aren't gendered. They're human. But I can see the intention in many people that they want to be those things. These larger things of moral courage, provision and protection, are actually held up by foundational skills that you actually need to practice. What are those skills? Listening. If you want to be a good provider and protector, you need to be a good listener. Curiosity. If you want to be a good provider and protector, you need to practice the skill of cultivating curiosity. If you want to be a good provider and protector, you have to be practicing the skill of humility. You have to be practicing the skill of connection. How to connect to others, how to connect to yourself. If you're not listening and paying attention, you won't even know what it means or what is required to provide and protect for those around you. Once again, this is for everyone. This isn't gendered. This is something all humans can practice and should practice if we're gonna be good community members. Just to give you an example, I'm married. I share a lot about how my marriage has transformed, how we are stronger as a couple now. But years ago when I first started sharing, our marriage was not good. And here's the thing. My husband really wanted to be a good provider and protector, but he wasn't. But it's not because he wasn't trying. He was working really hard, in fact. But because he was a bad listener and because he wasn't paying attention, all of the actions he was doing were almost entirely useless because he wasn't really addressing the provision and protection of the needs of people around him. He had simply made a list in his own head of what he thought provision and protection should be, and then worked really hard at that, regardless of what was really going on in his life. This was terribly sad because he was exhausting himself in an effort to do something he thought was good and neglecting all of these other spaces in his life, which would have been more effective provision and protection for the people that he loved. I think a lot of people think they're just gonna be thrown into a situation where they're just gonna suddenly decide to be the thing the moment needs, the hero. But you do not just show up and suddenly become a person who is capable of large, grand, and even small acts of moral courage. You are practicing that type of person every day. That's how you rise to the challenges of the moment. You've been practicing in other moments. Don't get me wrong, I wish men were naturally providers and protectors, like the world could really use it.